Buongiorno, Denis. Thank you so
Buongiorno.
much for being here. We are, thank you for your time. And as I told you, I'm starting this series about how to use the soft skills to improve our performance as a leader or as a team player. But in this case, I would like to talk with you about how do you think the soft skills are important in a data science team?
So I would say you have to distinguish between two different types of teams. Like, for example, if you let's take my case and see how far I can scale it. It's a scaling problem. When I write artificial intelligence algorithms, so I've been writing them for decades. So when you write the algorithm and now you have a team, the problem is, how is this team first going to understand the algorithms? How are you going to manage a team? The level is so high. Let's take a real project in supply chain management. You have a supply chain management project I did that went from Paris to Warsaw in Poland. Okay, so that means all kinds of countries, all kinds of warehouses, distribution, production. So you have to, let's say, you have to manage the production that's coming from one country, then it gets to a warehouse. How do you repackage things? How do you get them into a truck? How do you get to the shops? So you can see it's very complex. And there are not many actors that can do this. So you can train a small team if you're an expert. So I would spend a project like this 1 hour to 2 hours a day training a team of, let's say, 5 people, but training, pure technical training. What is supply chain management? How does the algorithm work? So it's like they go back to school. Now, if you just take that and you try to scale it, it's impossible, because you're not going to find 100 experts that can train other experts. People say, oh, you just train one person, then you train another. Yeah, but then the expertise will be diluted as it goes along. So in my case, I had to focus on small teams. Now, where the soft skill in my case comes in very handy is that although I was a manager, I remained a developer. Everything I write in my books here, I develop. I get the programs. You can see there's only one author on the book.
Yes.
Sometimes you have 3 authors. I do the writing, I do the programming, I get the programs that exist, I transform them, I do the development. And this is very important in a small team, because the developers say, oh, he said that, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. I just got out of school. I know Python. What does he know? He doesn't. And I say, hold on a minute. I can develop what you're doing in 2 hours. And I did it. So you develop it. So this soft skill is competence. It's being able to do what you're asking someone to do. And this person will say, okay, whoa, next time I'll be careful when I say something, and I'll just work. So then I know how long it takes. When you use the timesheets, I know how long it takes to develop. And when you go to a customer, since I know the supply chain and the development, and you're in a meeting with the manager, anyone can ask you any question. That's why in these interviews, I say, you can ask me anything you want. I've met so many CEOs that ask questions in every direction. What kind of server? What's the development? What's the language? How long will it take? What's the budget? How much will we get? What's the profit? So I would say, in my case, I believe in expertise. I believe that a person that's managing someone else should know what this person is doing and try to do it. At least understand it. Then if someone wants to scale, well, then, okay, she or he can scale, but at least he knows how things work. So in my case, that's the most important thing. And then the second one is being cool.
Yeah.
Not complicated psychology and stuff like that, just, cool.
Yes. It's like, for example, if we need to write a profile of a good lead for a data science team, for you, for example, for the technical and the soft skills, what are the
Okay,
what are
now
the things that you can include on these profiles?
remember you asked me for the interview, but I have a very special way of hiring people. I've hired many people,
Mhm.
both in my company and in the projects where the corporation says, who do you want on the team? So I have to interview the people that will be working in the corporation. So I've interviewed a lot of people.
Mhm.
Well, the first thing I look at is is it like our conversation? Are they like you? You know, nice people, right? That's number one. If you have a nice person and this person, you know, like smiles like you and is nice, okay, that's 50%. Because you can always teach a nice person something, but you can't teach a person that's nice, not nice, anything. The person is going to be closed. So number one, I don't hire like other people. So nice, and then some level of knowledge of the subject. Let's say I have a developer. I want to hire a developer, and he comes in and he says, I know how to develop, but I have no experience." And I say, "Okay, you're nice. Do you know how to program a little? Yeah. Did you go to college a bit? Yes, but okay, you're hired. I hire in like 5 or 10 minutes, and I don't meet 50 people. I just the first one that comes in, I feel like with you, or you know Tom Ives now.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so you see Tom Ives, you see you see me. Now you see the kind of team I would build. Now imagine if we three of us work together, and then you add 5 or 6 more like us. You can do anything. You can learn anything. You can do anything because it's human flow. So as long as the communication, you can do anything. I could teach you how to program. You could teach me how to coach. People that are open can do any. So my first thing is the person nice and open and some basic knowledge, and that's it. I hire the person and I say, let's see what happens.
Awesome. This vision of being part of a team is like a a future dream come true, I think.
Yes,
Thank
but the
you.
thing is, I built the company like that all the time. The team was always some people I like, and if I don't hire people I don't like, even if they're super competent, I'd rather someone less competent that
Mhm.
I like than someone more competent that I don't like.
Human quality, I think.
That's it.
Yeah, it's the same when we use, for example, we need to build a model, we need data quality. In this case, for a team, we need human quality.
You need
So,
human quality above all, because with human quality, you can go through any obstacle. When there's a problem, you can say, okay, what can we do? You can do it. Of course, people don't agree. Like if let's suppose you, Tom, and I were working together for 6 months, at what point we wouldn't agree at all. There would be tensions. But in the end, you know that these tensions will be solved and you'll get somewhere. But you don't want to be in a team where you have these people that are blocking communication and flows. And if you look, for example, at the team that built the first transformer in my book on transform, it's a Google team. But if you look at the authors,
mhm.
you will see that it was a nice little team because people are always thinking of big tech, but they don't realize that the departments are small. And this was a very small team somewhere in Google. And one of the persons did not have a college degree. In fact, one of the persons that wrote a lot in the article does not have a college degree. And they just like to work together and they tried new things. So it was this little team is the kind of thing I like, and it's a company in the company because people saying Google, but what Google is people. You know, there are people in that human beings. So you have these small teams where they're free to do what they want. And if you look at the articles of a lot of these things, you'll find only small teams.
That's amazing. Yes, and another thing that is very important is the the flow of communication. How do you do to make these teams to be always active and communicated? How do you
Well,
do
the
that?
first thing you have to realize is they're not always active and they're not always communicating. Because people get up in the morning, blah, didn't sleep well, or they have problems in their lives. So if you see someone coming in like that in the morning, you have to keep a distance. So it's not Disney. It's
Yeah,
not, oh, we're together and oh, it's like, no, sometimes you wake up in the morning and like here we're smiling, but after 6 months you just get it, you drag yourself to the office, you sit down. So what you want to make some comfort. I always had like candy in the office, like candy,
yeah,
soda, things that make things cool. But the flow is just one part, and then you have the customer pressure, and the customer pressure is tremendous. It's tremendous pressure. So now comes the part where you have to know who you're working with. I would only work with corporations that I liked as well. Like one of my last big ones was Disney. So Disney was my dream. As a child, I was brought up in Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Car. So it was a dream coming true. And I found that in their teams, they do a lot of what we're talking about. They like I was working for Disneyland in Paris, which is the biggest amusement park in Europe,
yes,
and I think there were easily over 100 nationalities. And what they would do is regularly, each person would go into a group, a training group, to learn the culture of other countries, because no two countries have the same way of working together. When we're speaking about flow, it's not the same flow for a Russian, a Chinese, an American, an Israeli, an Iranian, a Syrian, a person from Congo, a person from Brazil. So what Disney would do is train these people and say, you all have to take this course. What do these people eat? How do they work? What are the body language? Like body language is very different. Like you're going like this, but maybe someone in India will go like this. So yeah, but we need to read that.
yes,
And if we
that
read
is
it wrong,
true.
we get everything wrong. Like Mediterraneans like to be close to each other.
Yeah,
Germans don't.
yes,
So if someone from Tunisia that is used to coming close goes to Germany and gets close to someone and the person moves back, he might think there's hostility. But if he gets the proper training, he'll be okay on both sides.
yes,
So there's a lot of work there when you put the corporations in there, because when you work for a corporation like I did, it's maybe several countries, several cultures, so that they don't have the same goals. So that complicates the thing too. So if you don't have human communication, okay, and then you put the users in the market. It's a very complex. It's a never-ending subject where you have to be very careful. So the basic thing is to be, what I always say, to know what you're talking about and be cool.
that'd be cool. Yes, I was thinking about the body language. That if you don't manage in a proper way your body language, or you don't read in a proper way the body language of others, it's like you are creating noise
Yes.
around the communication. No, this is very important. And how do you think is yes?
No, no, no. You wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, yes, I wanted to know how because at the beginning when you form your team, maybe people they don't know each other. So it's the first time that they are working together. So how do you uh, mm, achieve the goal of make them all of them collaborating and achieve finally the goal that is finish a project in a high performance level? Mhm.
So what I do is I never use strategies on people.
Okay.
Never. That's a basic rule of my life. Since I
Mhm.
was a child, I do not have strategies for people. I do not have sales strategies, communication strategies, anything that involves thinking is out of my mind. Even when I went to sell to these corporations, I had no planned strategy. So never. It's for me. So if you want a team to work together, it goes back to my basic rules. Know what you're talking about, cool, and that goes for every person. So I would say, what do you know about? I know about databases. Okay, do databases. What do you know about development? Well, development. You know that he's going to give you the data, so you talk to them. But developers don't talk that much. In fact, a lot of developers are in another world. They're gamers. Young developers are gamers. They will play all night video games, and they'll come to the office in the morning, and it will take about an hour to wake up, and they don't like to talk that much. And there's an implicit understanding among developers is that the more you talk, the more you're bothering them, and they like to see it through action. Like someone gives you a nice program, and the developer says, wow, that really helped me there. The way you gave me the data, that will build appreciation. So developers build appreciation through results. They don't care what you say. If you're a manager, they won't even listen to you. If they won't listen to the other people, but if they receive a good program and they look at say, oh, that's cool. I like you. And then they'll talk to the person. That's how it works through competence.
Mhm. So they build trust based on the performance on how the other person make easy their own work or something like that. So
Yes, that's a developer works like that implicitly. And then what I always did is I did XP, or what people call agile, is that every day, uh, at least one or twice a week, the corporation has to have a conference like us with the developer directly. Not going. I never had a sales team and no consultants. The corporation, I said, you know what? You're the manager of our company. So you come in twice a week, you talk to the developer. He's going to show you what's going on. You like it, you don't like it, you don't like it, we change it. It's complicated, then I'll come in and we'll talk about it. So there's a direct contact between the production and the end user. So I had a user and an IT person. It's like if I was in Italy making nice jackets, then I would send uh, always, because I worked for a lot of luxury corporations. You send a person to the factory for a few months, and the person will talk with the people. That's how luxury is done. And in my field, I have the customer in at least once a week, so that you're always developing what the customer wants. So now there are other actors in the team.
fantastic. I'm learning a lot today about how to use the soft skills in the data science universe, because soft skills, we can apply our soft skills everywhere and for any situation. But I think the data science teams, they have something special, that you have different talents, and you, as a head of leader of one of these teams, you need to visualize these talents and organize them, not as a strategy, but it's like okay, you have your soccer team, and you
Yes,
have,
it's a soccer team, and
yeah,
you just kick the ball to the right person.
yes, I think this is really because
It,
every leader has his own style.
it's a horizontal thing. I don't believe in hierarchy. So I don't believe in strats in a company. I think it's a waste of money and time. All these meetings going from top to bottom. So if you break everything down into a small team, the team works together. You just kick the ball to the right person, and you earn respect by your expertise. That's what happens. Like if you really know what you're talking about, the person will say, "Okay, go see Dennis. He'll have a solution." but if you're just a manager counting points, it can work too, but you have to be nice. Anyway, no matter how you put it, it will go back to human respect and being cool, which means open. Respect, open, respect, open. As long as you're like that, well, then you'll be listening to people all the time.
Awesome. And now I would like to ask you for some advice for those data scientists that would like to become leads of a team. Uh, what could you share with them? How could they start sharpen their soft skills to become a lead of a team?
So now you're back. Yeah. So I'll tell you how it happens. It should happen naturally.
Yeah.
Like I've been self-employed all my life,
Mhm.
but when I was a student, I worked for many companies. And the best way, let me give you a very simple example how you
Mhm.
become a leader. When I was like 20, I was living in Paris in a very big flat, but I'd had no money to pay for that flat because I just had enough money from my family. I had no grants. These are the old days. You don't have all the help we have today. And I was thinking, I like this flat. I don't want to leave it. It's right next to the Sorbonne. It's right next to the nightclubs. It's super. It's a great place. So I said, I'm going to go do a job for 2 months to just get some money in to finish the year. So I went and got a job as a cleaner to clean offices in the business quarters of Paris. So people are saying, "Wow, it's degrading. You went down and you were sweeping. Oh, that's bad. How can a student at that level do it?" And I said, "I don't know. I needed the money." So the first day I was sweeping, and I was sweeping very well. That's what I'm speaking about technical things. Day two, I was sweeping faster than most of the people. Day three, I was cleaning full floors at full speed. And one of the managers of the cleaning company came along and said, "Gee, Dennis, how many people were with you?" I said, "Me." "Okay, you're not cleaning anymore." I was 20. He says, "So what?" I was 21. He says, "What am I going to do?" "I want you to manage a team. I want you to make people like you. I want you to." So I began managing a full building of people, maybe 15, 20 people when I was 21, people that were 50, 60, 40, 30, 20. And my team was going faster than all the other ones because I was making them like me. Let's be cool. Let's do this. Good atmosphere. And after 2 months, I got a good income because it was a manager income. And I said, "No, I'm leaving." And he said, "Why are you leaving? I was going to give you 3 or 4 buildings. You would end up at one of the managers in Paris of managing cleaning companies, and that you can earn a lot of money." And I say, "No, no, no, that was just for 2 months." And it happened to me several times. I played jazz and I would play jazz. I played jazz in bars and jazz clubs. I would. I did. I was a night guard in San Francisco with a gun and everything. If you do your job well, people will keep asking you for more. So for data science, let's back to data science. It's the same thing, and we can apply exactly what I just these three jobs. Your data science, clean your data. Cleaning. Clean your data. Make sure your data is super clean. People are going to say, "Wow, he really produces clean data." Maybe we want him to be a manager to show how other people can do it. Security. Ah, is the network is secure? Let's get him higher. Or let's say imagination, with the piano. So I would say first show that you're good, and it will come naturally. People will ask you to spread the knowledge. And once you're there, well, I just have my two rules: be good and be open. Be good at what you do and open. And you can go as high as you want. You can become a CEO, whatever. Now,
Wow.
I can't be a CEO because I don't want to be a CEO.
Yeah, it depends on your personal vision statement. everyone has his own goals. In your case, it's not that your goal, but
Yeah, because
uh,
there's this other thing called family.
yeah.
And there's this Harvard professor, Christensen, who wrote a book, How to Measure Your Life, because he
Mhm.
was a professor at Harvard. And he was saying, how do you measure your life? I see so many people go out of Harvard and 20 years later with depressions, divorces. You can be CEO, but what's the cost?
Yeah.
So how high do you want to go? Do you want to? So I would balance your personal life with your job. So I always balanced my personal life with my job, and I managed to keep both at the same level. If you try to go more to your personal life, then you won't go far in your profession. And the other's the same too. If you go too far, I often talk to managers and I say, "You've been traveling." We meet each other in different countries, and I say, "You've been traveling a lot." And I said, "Yeah." Well, I said, "Be sure you don't go back to an empty home,
Yeah.
because what do you work for? To be alone? To be alone in your house with your wife that's gone with the children, or the wife goes too far and the husband's gone, or the children take drugs. There's a lot more than work."
That's true. And thank you for all this advice and share your wisdom because you are not only giving me answers about the data science universe, but also about life. And I really appreciate that because I love the way that you communicate in your posts, the way that you prepare your videos,
Yeah, I
because you
prepared them a lot.
yeah,
Yes.
and you take your time and you explain. And for example, there are some concepts that are very difficult to understand, but you try to do it in a way that everyone can understand what you are saying.
Yes.
So that's the way that I can see that everything that you have shared in this minute with me, you really are applying that in your life, and that's the
Of
way
course.
that you are a great person. And it's awesome to talk to you. And now I would like to give you this space to talk about the projects that you are developing now. What are you doing? What do you want to do? Maybe I don't know in these next months.
So right now, specifically, let's say today, I'm working on a new field that's about 120 years old, because 140 maybe, because there are fields that have been going on for thousands of years. It's complexity. It's complexity science, and it goes back to. Let me give you an example. Complexity. Let's say you take a piece of paper and you take a piece of paper, and with a coin you do heads or tails. You just do like that. And then you move your pen. When it's left, you go a little to the left, and when it's right, you do like that. And you, after, you can go, if it's right several times, you go to the right. And after some time, you will see it seems like it's chaos, but there's a pattern. It will always build, you'll always build a pattern. It will always be a pattern. Like if you take someone that's drunk in the street, you know, he just went out, and you can see he's going like that, but in the end, he'll reach the end of the street. He'll make all sorts of things, and you can modelize that. That's how you do it for weather forecasts, for a lot of things. And complexity science enables you to encompass every field with very simple rules, like I just said. So it's an interesting, I'm working on that right now.
Awesome. I'm so curious about your next post about everything that you are doing because it's really, you inspire me. Every time that I read some of your posts, it's like, wow, I would like to do something using that, for example, the transformers.
But let
That
me tell you something about you that you can put on your YouTube thing. You don't need anything, because you are like the Etna, or the Stromboli. You have so much energy in you that in itself is enough in a team. Every team needs people like you, no matter what they're doing. They can just be, just sitting there or looking out the window. But every team needs that kind of energy, and few of us have it. I don't have that amount of energy you have because I'm more some kind of intellectual. But you have that kind of energy that just drives a team naturally. So if I were you, I wouldn't add too much knowledge because just being there in a team with some competence will motivate people. People need motivation. And every time you write a post, everyone smiles.
Thank you so much for this word. So,
That's
uh,
worth a lot of money. That's worth a lot. And I think that training and coach is good for you. But maybe, and I would, if I were you, I would focus on how to help people let their energy get out. How did, in fact, you should say, how did you manage to get all this energy? Like you're describing a professional situation for the past year that's very complex, and still you shine like a sun on a sunny day. So that, see what I mean? That's incredible. So you should be explaining that.
thank you so much, Dennis, for that. I really appreciate that because it's like, yeah, I'm like that. And maybe we sometimes we have some talents and we have some characteristic that for us is like normal. But maybe as you has just said, it's like in one team, maybe this talent can be like a energy for others to make them use their own talents
You would
in a
be a
better way.
good cross domain person in a team, like helping people get to, oh, you're having problems with your data, with your program. Let's talk about it. You could manage a little team like that and get the people to work together.
Thank you, Dennis. Today I have discovered another skill that I can apply
But
to
that's
be
the
part.
that's the skill we all see when we read your post. I'm sure that Tom, who
Mi
has a
hermano
lot of
Tom.
experience, sees the energy.
Thank you so much. And thank you for putting all this knowledge in your books. I'm really, really inspired by your books. For example, I'm trying to figure it out how to do or how to use the natural language processing to analyze, for example, elevator pitch to help people to improve themselves their own elevator pitch. But I first I need to discover the patterns to fit
No,
this.
no. You have it already. All you need to do is read the last chapter of Transformers,
Okay.
chapter 12.
Okay.
You read chapter 12, and believe me, that's the main thing you need out of that book. If you read chapter 12 in detail and not focus on the technical part, you'll get to the core of my way of thinking, and you'll get the core of how you can bring people together, which is a valuable asset. Then you
Thank
can
you
go
so much.
back in the chapters and see something you like. But chapter
Awesome.
12 is the chapter you want to read.
Awesome. I'm going to do that because I want to use this amazing book that everyone is like talking about your book. So I want to know more about these transformers. And thank you so much for this
Okay.
this time for all your advice. You, I am talking to with you to know more about how to use these soft skills in data science universe. But now I'm finishing this interview with another mindset about myself. So thank you so much for this. I wish you all the best, and I will
Okay.
continue uh, always reading your posts. And I say to all the people that is watching this video, please follow Dennis. As you can see, he's
And
not only
follow
an
you
amazing
and follow
professor.
you and follow you.
Thank you so much. It was amazing to talk to you.
Okay. So have a nice day and see you soon on LinkedIn.